it going? Oh, my computer almost exploded. Well, didn't almost explode. I don't know what went wrong. But I'm glad. I don't know what was wrong, but I fixed it. Okay. Da. Ooh. Oh my gosh. Wait. Okay. I thought I was. I thought I. Okay. Hello. How's it going? Oh no. Oh no. Ooh. Uh-oh. Oh, come on. I can do it. Eep. Bloop, 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 bloop. Continue. I always mix these up. Let's do a quick load. Let's see what... Ah. Oh, that's what confuses me. It's backwards. Okay. Ba-ding. Oh my gosh. Uh-oh. I forgot. Oh, shoot. What happened last time? I forgot to write down what happened last time so I could tell it to you easier. And also so I could remember what happened. Oh, I think... Oh, dang it. Let's see. So there was, Okay, so we ran into Yua, and, she told the cops on us, on, like, a crime that we didn't do. We're not the murderer. She told them that we were the murderer, and so we ran away, because they were all running after us. And then, we ran into FES, and she took us to a tunnel, and, showed us how to get our D-sword, kinda. And also, like, a little bit on how to control delusions. And then, and now we're with this guy, the detective. Yeah! That's pretty much what happened. Womp womp. Womp womp. Yeah. Suji-ban was walking through the narrow, filthy alleyway in Mariyu... Yamacho? He jammed his hand in his pocket. He checked, making sure there were a dozen or so coins inside.
Senpai, 貼り付けの現場に何があるっていうんすか？もう事件から2週間以上経ってるし、散々調べられた後っすよ。
We gotta do it again with more toothpicks. His partner, Detective Suwa, was walking behind him and complaining in an irritating voice. It was only natural that Suwa would be upset. The job they'd been given was to tail Takumi Nishijo, a person of interest in the New Gen murder cases. But right now, they were ignoring that job and coming to visit the scene of the third New Gen crucified. Yeah! Ben had left the job of tailing Takumi Nishijo to some of the local cops without bothering to tell the rest of the force he'd done so. From the perspective of a rookie like Suwa, this was reckless and crazy. Ben had dragged him out here without any explanation. Of course he was upset. So he'd been trying to persuade Ban to turn back for a while now.
いいから黙ってついてこいって。
Yeah. Ben completely ignored the rookie's protests and didn't seem the slightest bit concerned. Before long, they watched a narrow road blocked off by yellow tape. A suicide again, seemingly for the 100th time that day, his phone buzzed. He took it out, the look on his face quickly returning to that of a young, capable detective before he pressed the button to answer.
スワッス。はい。はい。
A band stopped in front of the tape as he listened to Sua talking behind him. Eavesdropper. Past the tape was the crime scene. Oh wait, did I don't know. It's too late for regrets. The place was dark, just like it had been during the time of the crime. Except for the tape, there was nothing to indicate that anything had ever happened.
見失った？女か。やられたっすね。とりあえず、深センの家に戻ってほしいっす。はい。張り込んでてください。
Yeah.
いやいや、大丈夫っすよ。責任はバン警部補が取るっすから。
Ben chuckled a little when he heard that Sue was cleverer than he looked. Of course, Ben had no intention of letting Sue or the locals take the fall for him.
なるべく早くこっちも合流します。本当は申し訳ないっす。お願いします。
Sue hung up the phone and glared at him. Just about the same time as Ben ducked under the tape, Sue followed reluctantly.
見失ったって？
尾行に気づかれたっす。直前にネットカフェで一騒動あったみたいっすし。
女っての？
岸本綾瀬っす。
Oh.
お騒がせバンドのジョーちゃんか。つながりは？
同じ学校の同じ学年っすね。他は今のところ特に。クラスメイトでもないっす。
Yeah, so they can't even know each other. Just kidding. Ben ran his hand through his stubble, enjoying the sensation for just a moment. Then he took out the coins from his pocket and began to count them in the darkness. Sue watched his partner's strange behavior. His mouth hung open.
何してるんすか?
Yeah, what the heck?
よりによって5円玉だけありゃしね。
Dang it.
そう、お前5円玉持ってねえか?
He might.
はあ。
Sue handed the 5 yen coin over with a confused look on his face. But instead of taking it for some reason, Ben ripped off the bottom button of his dress shirt. Then he began to unravel the string wrapped around it.
先輩、ついに頭おかしくなったんすか?
Finally, after all these years.
生意気な口聞くようになったじゃねえか。
He ate it. 11-11? He ate the coin? Ben chuckled and lightly punched him on the forehead. punched him on the forehead really hard. Pew! Then he took the 5 yen coin and ran the string through the hole in the middle.
よし、お前にやらせてやるよ。
Ben pinched. Ben punched both ends of the string. Ben pinched. Munch, 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 munch. Wait, what did he eat? I wasn't paying attention. I'm half here. I like this music. Oh yeah, oh my gosh, okay. Ben pinched both ends of the string with his fingers, hanging the 5 yen coin between them, and gave it back to his younger partner.
振り子っすか？
As the pendulum swings. That is very reckless, my good sir. Yeah. Holding string like that. You could drop it. I would drop it. Ben laughed mischievously.
こ
Ooh.
いつが事件の重要なヒントを与えてくれるかもしれねえぜ。
マジっすか？
Yeah. He's the professional here.
バンさん、勘弁してほしいっすよ。そのために仕事をほっぽってここまで来たんすか？
Suwa sounded like he was on the verge of tears. Aw, poor guy. Ben had dragged him on a lot of wild goose chases, but this was the worst of the lot.
サイキック操作とかダウジングとか
Yes.
その手のテレビでも見て影響を受けたんすね、先輩。
そういうお前も詳しいじゃねえの。
Crybaby, yeah. No, baby man.
いやー、まあ自分も見たは見たっすよ。先週のユーリ・ブライトマン。ユーリ・ブライトマンっすよ。今話題になってるアメリカの超能力捜査官っす。
俺が見たのはそんなチャラチャラしたもんじゃねえよ。どこかのお偉い大学教授が出ててだな。
And it was me. I was the smarty pants. Just kidding.
でもテレビっすよね。
ちいち文句の多いやつだ。やってみりゃわかる。ほら、いいから吊るしてみろって。
Ben had seniority, so Suwa had no choice but to obey. Instead of Brightman, I thought... Wait, when did it say Brightman? Oh my gosh, I'm not paying attention to anything. Batman. It could still be Batman. Why not? We can't... What am I doing? Where am I going? What? I'll read it as Batman next time. He frowned and pouted, but he did take the 5 yen coin. Then he pinched the ends of the string and let the coin move in a circle. Womp womp. It was too dark to see if Ben flipped out 100 yen lighter and struck it to give them some light.
先輩ってタバコ吸いましたっけ？
10年以上前に禁煙したやん。なんでだ。
ライター持ってたっすから。
It's his lucky lighter.
こういうこともあろうかと用意しといたんだよ。
Aw, he thinks about people.
で、これで何がわかるんす？
What, the lighter?
もっといろいろ動かしたり止めたりしてみろ。
That actually made me snort when you said you just call him Batman. Yeah. And who was Batman? This guy? If only I could point. I'll point with my ears. This guy? What? What? Boop. Almost lined up. There we go. Ben was staring at the 5 yen coin intensely. He looked so serious that Suo found himself unable to complain anymore.
やっぱりな。スワ、わかるか？
What is it?
何がっす？
What are we seeing?
五円玉の動きだよ。
It's jumping up and down! Stop, you buddy! Whoa!
さっきから少しだけ楕円を描いてるような気がしねえか？
Look at that coin, it's dancing to the music. The coin was moving slowly in a circular motion, held up by the string. Suo looked at it, a little confused.
力の入れ方とかじゃないんすかね。
お前、楕円に回るように意識してやってんのか？
Yeah, are ya?
いや、結構適当にくるくる
もっと手を動かさねえようにやってんの？
と。はあ。
It moves? Yeah! Dance moment! I'm moving too fast for it to pick to pick up my movement. Uh-oh, I'm stuck. Can I dance? Will it let me? It'll let me a little bit. Suo tried his hardest to make it move in a circle, but no matter what, no matter how many times he tried, it kept tracing an ellipse.
おかしいな。
You spin me right round, baby, right round like a record, baby. Right round, right round. Oh, I almost spun around. I'm gonna see if I could spin. My chair spins, maybe it'll sends me spinning. I won't know if it'll happen unless... Oh, it doesn't look like it happened. Real. Yeah.
意識的に違う形にしようとしてもできねえだろ？
Yeah, I'm trying to make it go in a triangle. It won't go in a triangle, in a square. And then I tried a hexagon. That didn't work. Ben grinned. Oh. And then Suo grinned. And then they looked into each other's eyes. Oh wait, that's not what it says. Suo, however, seemed unsatisfied and kept trying to spin the coin. Oh, and here goes my tail.
渋谷のどこでもこの現象が見られるわけじゃねえな。それでも十数箇所はここみてえな場所があるらしいぜ。
確かに不思議っすね。
Wow, not even a baker's dozen? Just kidding.
でも、だから何なんす？
Ben looked up with a satisfied smile, putting the lighter in his pocket and taking the fan out from his belt. He is
なん
Batman!
でここまで若者を引きつけるか知ってるか？
Because he keeps stuff in his belt like Batman. You know why so many young kids are drawn to Shibuya?
五円玉が楕円を描くからっすか？
Heck yeah. Hit the nail right on the head. So meant it as a joke, but Batman completely waved his fan and nodded. Oh!
まあそういうこった。
The end. That's it. There's no more to the game. Oh!
なぜこの渋谷という場所は若者たちをこんなにも引きつけると思う？
Because 5 yen coins spin in a ellipse. FES began to talk about something completely different.
日本いいえ世界を見渡してみてこんな場所は他になかなかないわ。
Did that have something to do with the D sword? If not, I didn't care. I need FES to tell me how to get a real D sword. Guinea pigs too excited? What are they excited about? Did they have... Did they get a little treat?
新宿で池袋でなくて
Or is it because FES is here? And they're like, yeah! Woo!
渋谷この街の名前が一人歩きしてしまうくらい
The two FESs were speaking to me simultaneously. One in front of me and one in back. They were in perfect sync. Yeah! Woo! Save me, rude butt. Mosquito in my room keeps biting me. I'm running away. Bite me, coward. Had to censor. And they just excited. Well that's fun. They're excited about life. They're high on life. Have the guinea pigs get the mosquito. They'll be little guinea pig assassins for mosquito. Felt kind of strange. Maybe FES had split? Maybe one of them was real and the other wasn't, or maybe both were fake.
日本中の人たちに刻まれているわ若者の街という疑問
Mosquito tactic. There's at least two, then.
なぜかしら
Why? Well, I didn't care.
ファッションの街だからお店がたくさんあるから
Piggy smoking the good shit. They gotta share. Unless you don't want them to share, then yeah. Because there are so many stories.
流行の発信者から
Piggy's not carnivores, but carnivorous. But if my cat was actually awake, maybe he could actually provide for this household. Wait, what? Oh, like bringing mice and birds in? And then having that for dinner? Ding! Oh, I love when little teeny kitty cats try to get deer. It's such a big animal compared to the little kitty. I don't know why that reminded me of that.
よくテレビに映るから
It's none of those things, actually. Nah, he must be mosquito hunting. Yeah! Getting the mosquitoes. My cat, she eats spiders. That's a good cat. She'll take them and eat them. Not mosquitoes, though. Oh, she also eats moths. I can't stop her. Oh, not even a little bit of those reasons. Those are so many reasons. The two FESs paused for a moment. It felt awkward with FES watching me both in front and back. Real. Oh no, could this be... Was I being recruited for some kind of weird cult? I started to panic. I wasn't sure if I should run. But when she said the next words, that ceased to be an option. Whoa.
引力ってあるだろ?
Yeah, apple falls on head. Batman handed out oh my god! Ben headed out of the narrow street and back toward Shibuya Station. Suwa had been sure they were going to Shinsen, so he looked confused as he followed.
万有引力のことっすか?
よく知ってるじゃねえの。さすがいい大学出てるだけあるな。
Ben grinned, but Suwa just looked annoyed.
あいにく大学じゃオカルトは勉強しなかったっすけどね。
オカルトじゃねえよ。
What are you talking about?
世界には引力がアンバランス化してる地域ってのが何か所かある。
アンバランス化ですか。
振り子が楕円を描いたのもその影響ってこった。GE レートって呼ぶらしい。
GE?
GE レート。
Uh-huh.
正式名称は何だっつってたかな。
Oh, I was about to ask what it stands for.
グルバケーショングラリッシュエラ
Oh, okay.
引力ならグラビテーションじゃないですか。グラビテーションエラーレート。
おー、そうそれだ。グラビテーションエラーレート。
直訳すると万有引力の異常値っすか。
物理学の辞典を調べりゃ載ってるはずだぜ。
Yeah, let's check this. Just kidding.
載ってたっすかね。
GE rate, the rate at which which universal gravitation is unbalanced. Universal gravitation was a basic natural force discovered by Isaac Newton. It was a force that worked on both matter and energy. The layers of geologic strata below the Earth's surface were said to have a huge effect on it. Layers of volcanic rock beneath the Earth, for example, were known for screwing up in magnetic fields. That's why, for instance, compasses that wouldn't work in the Akoi. I'm sorry, I'm trying. Aokigara Forest at the base of Mount Fuji. A fossil layer would be another example. It would contain large amounts of iron and calcium and research? I'm gonna start that all over. A fossil layer would be another example. It would contain large amounts of iron and calcium, and research showed that these could reflect magnetism. And magnite, especially, was known for its effect on gravity. Magnite was a naturally occurring magnet with octolateral crystals. If enough of it were to ever be found in a single place, that it would if enough of it were to ever be found in a single place, that it would exist as a geological Daiki? It would be as if the surface of the Earth itself had turned into a magnet, and would surely have a slight effect on the gravity of the area. You could take the effect these geological factors had on the gravitational balance of an area and turn it into a number. That number was its GE rate. By the time Ben finished his explanation, the two of them were out on one of the bigger streets in Dogenzaka? The whole area suddenly seemed much brighter.
渋谷の平均 GE レートは世界でもトップクラスらしいぜ。地面に置いたボールが一人でに坂を登っていくようなケースもあるらしい。
マジっすか?
Zua had been quietly listening until now, but his reaction was a little overdramatic. This duo is giving me gay, yeah, I ship them. They're boy kissers. No. Men kissers. It's the classic BL where they're partners. Yeah. Where was I? Wait, huh? Yeah.
まるで SF 映画の世界っすね。
It sounds like something. Oh wait, he already said that.
お前の好きなな。
He said love. Ooh, they're kissing.
自分は小難しいのは嫌いっすよ。壮大なスケールの映画がいいっす。
知らねえよ。
先輩の説明はすごくもっともらしいっすけど、なかなか信じられないっすよ。自 GE レートなんて聞いたこともないっすし。
てめえの無知を一般論として語るな。
Yeah. If you're gonna do that, you should at least kiss him.
デカに必要なのは事実を客観視することだぞ。
はあ。でも、
Sue was right. We should kiss. Oh, GE rates were a minor field of study and not something you'd ever learn in a typical college curriculum. Ben had only found out that Sua liked him and oh wait. I keep reading the wrong things. Batman had only found out about them a few weeks ago.
そもそもまだ肝心の答えを聞いてないっすよ。
The answer
渋谷の重力がアンバランスだと、なんで若者が引きつけられるんですか？
引力と人間ってのは意外と因果関係があるってことだよ。お前、生き物のバイオリズムは月の引力に関係してるっての知ってたか？
Oh. What are you trying to tell him?
潮の満ち引きだけじゃねえんだぜ。
ウミガメの産卵には月の影響があるらしいってのはどっかで耳にしたことがあるっす。
ああ、必ず満月の夜に産卵するってやつだな。だがウミガメだけじゃねえ。他に有名なのだとサンゴが産卵するのも満月の夜だ。
Wait. Coral lays eggs? I thought they were like a sea plant. An ocean. Huh. An ocean plant.
ああ、海の中が雪降ってるみたいになるやつっすね。
No, it always looks like it's snowing in the sea. Right? I don't know.
満月の夜は引力も強くなってるって科学的に実証されてんだ。
He got excited when he heard that. He's like, yeah, but it looks like it's snowing.
当然人間にもその影響は及んでる。
人の出産にもってことっすか？
Ocean plant, take me by the hand. I used to know that song a lot, but I don't anymore. I know one of their other songs, but I won't sing it. Because I lied. I just know the name of one of their other songs. You mean human births too? Oh, is this foreshadowing for them doing an MPreg? I was considering if I should say that or
出産だけじゃねえよ。
they're gonna do it.
バイオリズムって言ったろ。普通の生理現象はもちろん交通事故や事件、病気、食欲とか性欲とかにも密接なつながりがある。興奮すると頭に血が上ってるって言うだろう。あれは月の引力に引っ張られてるんだよ。
Whoa! Really?
そりゃ極論だと思うっすよ。まるで個々の感情なんて関係なくて全部月のせいだって言ってるようなもんじゃないですか。
Yeah. Darn moon.
そこまでは言わねえがな。集団心理って言うだろ この町に来た途端に楽しい気分になったり、ちょっと無茶したくなったりするかもしんねえんじゃねえの？
Got incense to ward off mosquitoes, but now Cat is terrified of smoking stick in my room. Oh no! Is it the smoke that's scaring her?
ニュージェネの一連の事件に対する反応だってそうだ。
Can we boot? Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think that's someone for it. Is that good? Or should I turn it all the way up?
「この町でそのニュースを見た連中は大抵反応が同じだ。どいつもこいつも楽しんでやがる。自分だけは被害者にならないって気持ちだ。
The
対
loud
岸の火事を眺めていい気になってる。
Please God, no. Wait, for what? Oh, the thing Batman said? What about now? Is that good? Oh, it looked like I did a landing, like a rocket ship. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, boom.
そういう集団心理も GE レートのせいってことですか？
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. You're welcome. I can't hear it on your side, so it's good to know when it's too quiet or loud. You got no to putting on max. Yeah, I was joking about that. That's hilarious. Ooh, thanks.
可能性としてはありだろう。
Oh, you could use that as like maybe like a pickup line. Go, ooh, the GE rates. Yeah, just say that. That's all you need to say.
渋谷に来たら楽しい気分になるってのが若いやつらの頭の中に無意識にすり込まれれば。
若者がこの街に惹かれる理由になるってわけですね。
The what? Wait, what? The Ben was impressed. Sua was a quick learner. He was still young, but he was good at this stuff. And what made him different from the other kids was that he didn't just blindly follow his partner's orders. If something seemed wrong or if he had questions, he'd speak up.
GE レートについては一応分かったっすけど、それでどうやって犯人を探すんですか？ もし G レートに影響されて今回みたいな事件が起きたってなら、何百年も前から似たようなことが起きてないと変なんじゃん。
そいつはこれから調べりゃいいさ。専門家がな。
先輩は調べないんすか？
俺はデカだぞ。
Ben grinned.
調べるのはニュージェネのことだけだ。そのために今日はわざわざ仕事サボって現場の G レートを測ったんだ。もしこれまでの一連の現場の G レートが異常を示したなら何を意味すると思う？
まさか。
Nua's eyes went wide, and he stopped in his tracks. He seemed to have noticed that Ben was leading him toward a hotel.
事件は G レートが異常を示している場所で起こるってことすか？
Oh, yeah.
だとしたら次の事件が起こる場所をある程度予測できるんすね。
まだそう決まったわけじゃないよ。それをこれから調べんだ。
Would have been funny if he said, I'm a detective, not a scientist, Sherlock. Like in The Lost Skeleton Cadabra. Oh, I love that one part where he's like, there's like a ranger and he's like, it's a good day to be a ranger. I wonder if anybody needs a ranger. Like me, a ranger. And then the scientist comes up and he has some stuff or whatever about Cadavra, where the lost skeleton is. And the ranger's like, well, you don't believe any of that, do you? And he says, I'm a scientist. I don't believe in anything. We don't know that for sure. What are we... That's what we're about to find out. There was something in this town. Something unknown lurking behind the glamour and lights. Maybe it was Pandora's box, which nobody should ever open. That's what Ben thought as he watched people come and go down the street. The scientist partnered with a conspiracy theorist. Need it now. Yeah, like a romance. Ding. Ooh, I winked this time. I've been trying to wink. The D-swords are an expression of the Great Will's guidance. That was enough to make me finally snap. FES had been continually changing the subject, talking about things that didn't matter at all. The Great Will, the reason young people come to Shibuya, I wasn't interested in those things at all. There was one thing I wanted to know.
ディソードはどうすれば手に入る？
Yeah. I worked up my courage and asked.
教えてよ。
FES's expression of Inu stayed unchanged as she looked down at her D-sword. It was such a huge sword, but she seemed to carry it like it weighed nothing. It occurred to me that FES might be incredibly strong. Ooh.
教えられることじゃないわ。
なんて。
After all that crap she made me listen to, she wasn't going to tell me the most important thing? What the hell?
見つけなくちゃいけない。自分自身。方法なんて私にもわからない。
She didn't know? So how did she get the one in her hands?
ただ、理想度は力を持つ人の目にしか映らない。
So people who didn't have the power couldn't see it. I could see it quite clearly. What did she mean by the power? Did she mean that that I had superpowers too, like the 2 FESs with me?
君には私の剣が見えているでしょう。それが意味するのは一つだけ。
If having the power was why Yua and Shogun were coming after me, then I didn't even want it. But I still wanted the D-sword. FES said that having the sword would save me. The Great Will, the reason young people come to Shibuya, those things didn't matter to me. I didn't need any power. I didn't want any trouble. But the sword... I need the sword to protect me from you and Shogun.
感じで世界の選択した意志を。
But FES's answer was vague and hard to understand. I bit my lip trying to figure out how to get more information out of her. But I could barely talk to 3D girls, even on a good day. Trying to figure out a way to get information out of one was beyond me. I tried to think back to the H games I'd played to see if they'd give me ideas. But neither Slipper and Aphrodisiac tie her up or lock her in the basement seemed like... Yeah, no, none of the... No. You probably shouldn't say that. Man, I just realized I might be a piece of shit. You just realizing this? Oh my goodness. This guy.
君、名前は？
FES had turned away from me and was walking deeper into the tunnel.
私は岸本綾瀬。
Only then did I realize we hadn't introduced ourselves to each other. Not this 3D girl. BS. Yeah, I know, right? I know! It's like pulling teeth with this guy!
西條匠。
FES Ayase had her back to me, so I couldn't look. I couldn't see the look on her face. I couldn't tell why she'd laughed. It's because you're a
また会いま
joke.
しょう。匠。
You're a joke. She's laughing at you. Ayase got further and further away. I turned around a little, afraid to look at what the other Ayase was doing. And she was gone entirely. Whether she literally disappeared or just walked out of the tunnel, I couldn't tell. Ayase had said she was a delusion. Oh no, my internet lagging on my side. Uh-oh! Ah. Was that the power of the D-sword? Is it the D-sword that's making the internet lag? Just kidding. I looked back down the tunnel. There was another staircase 50 meters down the tunnel. Ayase was walking up it. Left because of his BS. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Before long, she was entirely gone from view. I was left alone with the silence of the eerie tunnel. I didn't have the courage to yell at her. And I was too tired and lazy to run after her. In the end, all I could do was go back home and try my best to make sure Yua and the police didn't find me. I'm gonna go sit in that chair. Wow. Boop. Oh wait, I'd be pretty little in that chair. There we go. I felt like... God, be alone. Good. Oh, good. Be alone. Yeah. Staying here. In this room where... In this sad, sad room. I felt like a long time. It felt like a long time since I'd been back to the base. In fact... Though, I'd only been gone about 12 hours. The PC was still on, and my Series 10 screensaver was smiling into the dark room. I made sure to carefully lock the door from the inside and then threw myself on the sofa. When I closed my eyes, all the... Oh, excuse me. Did a hiccup. All the things that had happened to me today came flooding back. I couldn't believe the cops thought I was the killer. They were totally wrong. There was no way I could kill anybody, right? Do your jobs, damn it. This isn't a game. I bet they were just coming after me because I was a creepy otaku. Otaku had low social status. Nobody would complain if one were made out to be a killer. They weren't making any progress finding the real killers, so they wanted to make me out to be a scapegoat. Damn it. How was I supposed to clear my name? I don't think you can clear your name. It's too late for you. Oh! The events at Cafe came back to me, and I shivered. There was somebody even scarier than the police out there. Yua was my enemy. I'd let my guard down because I hadn't seen her for a while. I thought she was just going to leave me alone. I accused him of killing just to save the population from his annoyance. The real killer's out there still, but at least this guy's gone. Today, I realized my mistake. I needed the D-sword to fight these people. I looked over to the cheap sword next to my computer. It was a fake, according to Ayase. Only those with power could see the real one. But Nanami had been able to see mine the other day, on the day I bought it. And unlike Ayase's and Senna's, my sword didn't glow. Where was the real sword? I need it as soon as I could get it. Otherwise, I was doomed. I was so sick of all these awful stuff that keep happening to me.
あなたは
Oh, he wasn't the killer? Oh, I had no clue. Oh, silly me. My bad.
DID 多重人格なんです。
Why is she trying to diagnose him? No, that's not true. It's impossible. They say multiple personality disorder is really rare in Japan. Didn't they? You just saw too many movies and read too many novels. I didn't have multiple personalities. There was no evidence anywhere.
違う。あれは違う。
But it would explain the chat log.
あんなの捏造だ。証拠にはならない。
But there's no evidence that I don't have multiple personalities either. Yeah, you get yourself stuck here, don't you?
先生は僕を多重人格だなんて診断しなかった。
But then Dr. Takashina vanished right after that for no good reason.
僕が一番よく知ってる。
But I wasn't sure who I was. Suddenly, I felt the prickling on the back of my neck. The same as always, someone's gaze watching me. Whose eyes are those?
そうだ。将軍だ。あいつが犯人だ。チャットログにもそう書いてあったじゃないか。ユアは将軍の手下だし。ニュージェネ事件だって全部将軍が。
But did Shogun even really exist? How did I know he wasn't just a delusion?
僕はまともだ。まともなんだ。そうでしょ。
Mm-hmm. That's what sane people say. Jail, mental institution, same problem solved. Yeah, this guy is out of our hair. I held my head in my hands and screamed out to an empty room an answer came from.
メールだよボケナス
Who said that? Saria? I slowly walked over to my PC and opened the email. It was from Grimm. The subject was found something cool. It was probably some guru or some mental browser crash image. I didn't have the time to deal with his trolling, but I decided to at least read it. Totally nuts, you gotta see! But it's got the new Gen Killer in it. Everybody's online talking about it. So you gotta watch or you... I read the middle of the email. That's okay. It's too late. A video of a new Gen murder taken by the killer? My fingers were shaking. On top of the mouse, I couldn't take my eyes off the text. Did it show who the killer was? Or was it? Was it me? Part of me wanted to see it, and part of me firmly resisted. This would be proof. Proof I wasn't the killer, or maybe proof that I was. I didn't know which it would be. It was like a gamble in a way. I felt like my heart I felt my heart beginning to race as I moved the mouse cursor over the link. But I couldn't work up the courage to click it.
私あなたを助けたい
Shut up! Don't treat me like I'm the killer. Don't try to have sympathy for me. Yeah. This guy's a lost cause. Don't waste your time on him, okay? I didn't do it! You're the one that's working for the killer. Anger boiling within me, I clicked on the link. It opened to Mewtwo page. The video's window read loading.
僕じゃない僕じゃない僕じゃない僕じゃない僕じゃない僕じゃない僕じゃない僕じゃない僕じゃない僕じゃない僕じゃない僕じゃない僕じゃない僕じゃない僕じゃない僕じゃない僕じゃない
Oh, hey! One of the pictures down there is like from the group dive. Whoa, look at the views on it. YouTube. Hold on, I want to look at the... What's this a video about? I would click on this. Oh, hey! This is where I was at one time. Oh, and here's the moon landing. I don't know what this is. I also don't know what that is. Or what that is. Oh, I don't know what that is. But I'd probably click on this. Bruh, I think it's him. Yeah, he sure is acting like it. The video only took 10 seconds to load, but to me, those 10 seconds felt like an eternity. Lips. Mwah. Eventually, the loading ended, and the video began to play. It was showing someplace very dark. The background was totally black. Was it indoors somewhere, maybe? No, it's very clearly outside. This guy's dumb. I brought my face close to the monitor to see if I could make out any details. It was dark and hard to tell but there seemed to be several boys and girls there. They were all talking really loudly. Maybe it was the low audio bitrate of the video? Or maybe it was that they were all so excited. Maybe it was they were all so excited, but I couldn't make out what they were saying at all. It sounds like they're crying to me. But I don't know, maybe they're excited. Look at them. Look at how excited they are. Sometimes they would scream violently, and the static from the low-quality mic would be awful. After watching a while, I could tell that there were 5 people there. 6 if you included the cameraman. The cameraman was carefully staying out of frame. Yeah. Usually, the cameraman does that. It was hard to make out the faces of the others in the darkness, though, too. They seemed to be cheering each other, rubbing each other's foreheads, giving out friendly pats on the back, and hugs. The girls seemed to be crying with joy in loud voices, too. It was a strange scene. Sure, but what did it have to do with New Gen? Was it really the new Gen Killer who was filming this? If nothing else, I didn't remember doing it. You don't remember a lot of things. After a short while, the person holding the camera slowly began to move forward. The 5 people in the shot, originally about 5 members away, began to loom larger in the frame. The video's resolution was very low. Maybe they dropped the bitrate down as low as it could go during encoding to keep the file size as low as possible. Cameras these days had night mode on them. Why wasn't the cameraman using it? Maybe it was an old camera? Suddenly the camera panned from the left from left to right, showing the surrounding area. What I thought was a black background was actually the night sky. This video was being filmed outside. The reason I hadn't seen any buildings was because they were on top of a skyscraper. The 5 boys and girls were standing right on the edge of the tall skyscraper. Behind them was a sheer drop. You could see the light of the Shibuya spreading out from below.
これ
Finally, I understood. I knew what this footage meant. I knew why Grimm said the new Gen Killer had to have taken it.
集団だいぶ
The case where 5 boys and girls had jumped off the locked roof of the Cornelis Tower. The new Gen case where they weren't sure if it was a suicide or a murder. If this video showed the 5 who died in the jump, then that would mean a sixth person was there when it happened. I'd been wrong about what they were doing. Yeah, no sheesh, Sherlock. Everyone saw they were outside. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's with this guy. They were all crouching on the ground, clinging together and crying. They all seemed to know they were about to die, and they couldn't accept it. One was shaking their head no over and over. One was on their knees, sobbing and ripping at their hair. One was screaming at the camera, demanding to know why they were doing this. And one had already gone crazy and was crying while they laughed. What I saw was a violent desire for life, and a powerful wish to not die, and helpless fury at the unfair situation they were in. But what was strange was the cameraman's voice wasn't in the video at all. The person recording the video was almost eerily calm.
やめろやめろ
I'm sorry, it already happened. You can't stop it. The video was close to a month old. Nothing I saw would change it. Yeah. I knew it was meaningless, but I still couldn't help but scream at the monitor. Yeah, I do get that, you know.
こいつらみんな死にたくなんかないんだぞ
But of course my words were unheard, and the person holding the camera kept walking toward the 5 of them. They began to crawl away in fear from the camera. They began to crawl away from the camera in fear. But it didn't matter. The edge of the heliport was right behind them. There wasn't any kind of safety fence. It looked like a room with walls painted blue and white blobs, and odd green carpet. The light was so strong, it almost felt like the sun. Wait, what? But it didn't matter. The edge of the heliport was... Oh wait, I already said that. There was nowhere to run for the 5 of them. Another step back and they'd fall. Okay, but am I the only one that thinks it sounds like giggling and laughter? Well, Takumi thinks it sounds like giggling and laughter. I think... laughing and crying does sound really similar. The camera slowly kept going forward, as if to taunt them, oblivious to their cries. But even as it got closer, whoever was holding it did nothing but move forward. Then suddenly all 5 fell silent, didn't make any motion toward each other, and nothing happened to cause it, but they all fell silent at the exact same moment they stood up. The wind on top of the Cornelius Tower was strong. It threatened to knock them over. If they slipped, they'd fall. And they'd all... And then they all took each other's hands as if in... resignation? Shoot! I take back my opinion. I don't want to have the same thoughts as this, but... yeah. Well, I also thought it sounded like giggling and laughing. For a little bit. Or like, yeah. I don't know, it just sounds really similar. Their hands clasped tightly with one another's.
よせ。やめろ。謝るな。
Silence. Even the sound of the blowing wind felt like it had stopped. The only thing I could hear was the sound of the cars traveling on the highway below the skyscraper. The cameraman didn't do anything. And then, one of the 5, ever so softly, whispered,
その目誰の目？
I froze in front of the monitor, as if a cold hand had reached onto my chest and grabbed my heart.
なんでまたその言葉なんだよ。
This was the first Nugent case, right? Why had this boy suddenly said, whose eyes are those? That was the dying message of the 4th case, the vampire incident. This made no sense. The video continued, oblivious to my screams, as videos do. The 5 of them slowly stepped off the edge as if there was a path waiting for them there, and then they fell off into the darkness of the city sky. I bit my lip and covered my eyes. Group dive wasn't a suicide. This was murder. The killer was right there when it happened. And who was the cameraman? I knew the answer. Muffled by the strong wind on the roof, hidden by the sounds of the screaming and crying, in between the bursts of car horns from the highway below, there was another sound that I could just barely hear. It was the sound of creaking metal. The sound that I only heard when the camera moved forward. The sound of a wheelchair.
あの時、僕の前に現れたのは現実だったんだね。
Yikes! Yeah! Ooh.
カメラの目線が低すぎだよ。
I like how this guy flashes back to memories. Goes BAM! And shows a picture. That's what. Camera's too low to the ground for somebody who's standing up.
将軍。
Ooh, chapter 5. How many chapters are in this? I tried looking that up earlier, but it didn't give me a clear answer. Wheelchair, what? Oh yeah, so when we met Shogun, he was in a wheelchair. That squeaked. Like what we heard earlier. The news about the leaked video of the group dive quickly became a huge deal, of course. The net was, like Grim said, in an uproar. A lot of people on Achan were saying that this proved that all 4 new gen murders were committed by the same person. The killer has got to be... Whose eyes are those? The guy who uploaded this video to YouTube has to be the killer, right? Totally, whose eyes are why? Huh? Okay, I'll call the cops. Whose eyes are those? There was... What? Hold on, I gotta break this up. Those... We... As... Fab... Yeah. The whose eyes message showed up in the vampire crime scene too. Now there's a connection between the first new gen murders. People had been saying there are no connections at all, but I guess they were wrong. So the pregnant man and crucified were also... Oh shit, this is exciting! But why is someone scared of a dude in a wheelchair with a camera? Both hands are occupied. Does he have supernatural powers? I'm lost. Kinda? Kinda? He has supernatural a little bit. I don't want to spoil too much. Because, like, I've seen the anime, and that's kind of why I decided to play this. But, yeah. We'll see. Whose eyes are those? And since the vampire case was the first time we saw whose eyes, that means that the killer can't be somebody who saw the group dive and tried to copy it. They have to be the same guy. Don't look at me. Lol. Whose eyes are those? I saw the video and it looks like fake bullshit to me. Keep going. I just, well... Oh, no, yeah, but, like... They haven't, in the game yet, haven't told much about Shogun other than he's a guy in a wheelchair. Don't say whose eyes, guys. You're just egging the killer on. So, this means all new gen murders were the same guy, right? Whose eyes are those? Maybe the other side of the ledge only drops down 2 meters, and there's, like, a mat or something under it. No spoilers? Okay, I won't do it. Agreed. As long as the phrase is popular, we're going to keep seeing more murders. Cut it the hell out. This is not funny anymore. Whose eyes? I live in Shibuya. Don't look at me. It's the most viewed YouTube video. Hey! Oh, don't look at me. It's the top article. Also, dude was dense enough to think they were inside, but somehow was able to distinct squeak of a wheelchair, bruh. I know, right? I don't know, maybe he can only base things off of stuff that he's experienced. I don't know. This guy. I think, like, that's kind of the thing that gets me a lot of times in, like, anything where they're trying to, like, they didn't make it as mysterious as, like, they didn't make it so mysterious, but they're like, we'll just have the characters be confused for some reason. Like, like, a lot of shows do that, but, I have a grudge against this guy, so. Are you saying bro has never been outside? Yeah. He'll admit it, he's never been outside. The TV news was just as excited. 104 was right. All the non-government run TV stations except the TVTK had done excuse me, specials on it. And they've been showing the video non-stop. None of the specials were longer than an hour, but the fact that the video was broadcast all over the country was shocking. Of course, all of the stations cut the last part where they actually jumped, but the effect they had was incredible. The TV commentators were saying more or less the same thing as the internet, that all 4 of the new gen cases were the work of the same killer. It was inevitable that they'd say that at last the new gen cases had something in common. Whose eyes are those? The phrase that was so popular in Shibuya right now, it had originally been thought that these words only appeared during the 4th incident, the vampire case. But one of the victims of the group dive said the phrase as well, despite it taking place over a month before Vampire. That is such a silly name. Unless I'm reading it wrong. But if I am, I'm going to continue to read it like that, because it's silly. Now, out of the 4 murders, it had appeared in 2. The first and the most recent one. Which meant it was probably the same person, reasonable... Which meant it was probably the same person responsible for all 4. The police held an emergency press conference to announce that they were doing everything they could to find the uploader of the video. A few politicians issued statements expressing their anger and sorrow and demanding that the killer be caught immediately. immediately. The video was deleted by YouTube administrators less than 3 hours after upload, but it was too late. Channers were everywhere had downloaded it already, and nobody could stop it from being spread now. And then, late that night, the police made the next announcement. The video of the group dive incident was uploaded from a manga cafe named At Cafe, specifically the PC in room 37. That's the room that I go to. Or not me, Takumi. I sat in my seat and leaned forward, my head pressed against my arms. I'd been listening in on the conversations around me without even realizing I was doing so. Today, I was feeling really sensitive towards other people's voices. After listening to a few conversations, I realized that everybody was talking about the group dive. Just like I thought they would be. Some of the girls were even saying, "Whose eyes are those?" as a joke. I bit my lip and stared down at my desk. That video was proof. Proof that Shogun was real. Proof I wasn't the killer. So I didn't have multiple personalities. The old man in the wheelchair was the new gen killer. But why had Shogun uploaded the video? Why had any clue? No, oh my goodness! Nobody had any clue to the identity of the killer. Why would he reveal himself now? I'd thought about it and come to two possible conclusions. The first was that Shogun may have just wanted attention and recognition for his crimes. Given how he'd shown himself to me, that seemed likely. The other was as a challenge to me. For some reason, Shogun and his servant, Yua, was after me. I didn't know why, but they'd almost succeeded in making me out to be the new gen killer. The police might still suspect me. Hello! How's that going? Shogun was trying to trap me, even now.
僕のメッセージは受け取ってくれた？
Yes.
目覚めるんだ。早く。でないと、もっとたくさんの人が死んじゃうことになるから。忘れないで。君は逃げちゃいけない。
Sure sounds like a killer to me. Just kidding. That's what the Shogun I'd seen had said. As near as I could tell, what he meant to say was, "I'm going to kill you, so don't run away." It was a threat. Heading offline, have fun. Yeah, see ya! And now he'd upload a video for all of Japan to see. He was escalating things. Your tail on my screen? My tail? Whee! There it goes. He mustn't move to the next stage of his plan. But it would be naive to think this meant he'd give up on me. I should assume that his attacks and politics were... plots. His attacks and plots were only going to get worse. I was scared. That video was terrifying. Shogun was weaker and fragiler than even I was, but he'd kill teenagers without even laying a finger on them. If he was behind all of the new gen killings, that would mean that even the pregnant man, crucified, and vampire were all done by his hand, despite his tiny, frail body. Or maybe Yua had helped. Either way, I didn't have any hope to protect myself from people who could do something like that. I felt anger at being chosen as their target so abruptly, but I also felt afraid of them. And then, whose eyes are those? There was that message, too. Whenever I let my guard down for a moment, my body started to shiver. I had to stay tense at all times if I was going to keep myself from losing control. I kept my eyes closed on my surroundings and made sure I was ready to run if somebody approached. Shogun, or maybe Yua. Ooh, excuse me. I hiccuped. Shogun, or maybe Yua, could appear at any moment. It was entirely possible that Shogun had more servants than just Yua, after all. Maybe some of my classmates, the kids who were laughing and chatting around me right now, were under his influence too. I had to avoid being caught off guard like I was at Cafe yesterday. Otherwise, this time, I'd be killed. I need to find my D-sword. If I want to get out of this alive, I need that D-sword. After talking to Ayase and Senna and looking on the internet, I was getting more and more sure of it. If I could get the D-sword, I'd be saved. While I was watching things unfold on the internet last night, I'd also been doing everything I could to find information on the D-sword I'd gotten. I'd gotten nowhere. I moved my hands up to my head and tore at the greasy hair. Oh. How the hell was I supposed to get a D-sword?
見つけなくちゃいけない。自分自身で。方法なんて私には分からないわ。
That's what Ayase had said, but I didn't even have a hint as to where to start. It wasn't fair. Your tail looks like a snake? Yeah, it does a little bit. Sometimes I see it in the corner and I go, oh, what's that? I get spooked by my own tail. Bloop, boop, 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 boop. I was getting more and more scared, and I wasn't making any progress. The fear was crushing me. I had to find it. I had to find my D-sword fast. I needed the D-sword no matter what. Gotta find it. Gotta find it or it's over. I have to find it before I become the victim of the next new gen case. But find it how? I didn't even know where to start. There has to be a hint of some kind of hint. If I didn't hurry, I'll lose my chance. Can I find it? I didn't have time to be here at school. My life and graduating school? There was no question which one was more important. So why was I... Then I heard somebody getting close to my seat. I tensed up, jerking my head upwards.
びっくりした。
It was Rimi. She was standing there, blinking in surprise at my sudden movement. You're the one that surprised me. Don't scare me like that. Okay, you scared each other. Can you stop moving your tail? No. I have no control over my tail. It just moves however it moves. I could probably... Here, let's see. Oh, no, it's still... Oh, and I also forgot to... No, it'll... Yeah, I have no control over my tail. I relaxed inside and dropped my head back on the desk. I could probably...
僕大丈夫？
She peered over me like she was talking. I quickly looked away.
顔真っ青だよ。
No, keep the tail? Oh, okay. I didn't know if it was like, distracting or anything.
汗もすごいし、目も血走っちゃってる。
Was Remy on my side? Or was she my enemy? After she'd saved me once, I was a lot less cautious around her. But that meant I also just ignored all the things that made me suspect her in the first place. If she and I were friends since my first year school, why didn't I remember it?
僕体調悪いの？
Remy looked a little concerned.
なんでもない。
I turned my head away from her. There was no way I could ask her any of these questions to her face. When the day's class finally ended, I was mentally exhausted. Even during class, I'd been ignoring the lecture and constantly keeping an eye on my surroundings. I hadn't slept since yesterday, but I felt so tense that I was actually more alert than usual. The school day seemed to drag on for an eternity, and the longer it went, the more miserable I felt. Why did it seem time passed much slower or faster depending on your mental state? They say time flows at the same rate for everybody, but there's no way that's true. Time is subjective, yeah. If you asked me, the things like hours and minutes were just somebody's selective conspiracy to hide the subjectivity to make everybody think it was the same. Excuse me. And if time flow was subjective, didn't that imply you could control it too? I only thought of that because of what Senna said about controlling other people's will. Didn't that imply...
生まれながらに目が不自由な人でも目の前にある景色がちゃんと見えるようになる。ビデオカメラのような映像機器を介してね。
If you could take the image recorder by a video camera, turn it into electrical pulses, and send it to the brain in a way that could be understood, didn't that imply that you could also take the images in the mind and turn them into electrical signals too, then send them to some kind of device to be turned into video? There is no need for the signals to be coming from a video camera anyway. For example, what if you hooked up a hard drive with a recording of a travel program? Or what if it wasn't a travel program but an anime? If anime is just a delusion, it's 2D. But somebody born blind would never have seen 3D images. If you told them this was what the world looks like, would they believe the 2D world was real? Wouldn't that mean, from their perspective, that a delusion was real? Whoa, 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 whoa. For example, let's say that somebody will call A an image in their brain. You could send it to a hard drive, then turn it into a video, and then broadcast it into B's brain. Then A's delusion will become B's reality. Their delusions would become real. It would be theologically possible, right? Wow, I'm a genius. I became incredibly excited about my own idea. Maybe this was the key to getting the D-Sword. Ayase had said a D-Sword was a delusion after all. Okay, time to head home and look it up online. After that, I escaped back and headed in hand and ready to go. There she is. But the girl was standing at the door. Or that girl. Ooh, gotta stretch. Looking at me. I screamed. Half my class were still in the room. I could feel them staring at me coldly. Stop! Run away! Don't look at me! Run away! Please, don't look at me! Run! Panicking, I knocked aside my classmates and headed out the other door on the opposite side where Yuwa was standing. I ran until I made it to the courtyard where I was suddenly overtaken by the urge to vomit. I tried to hold it in, but it was useless. I dropped to my knees and threw up. Ew! Stomach acid stung my throat. My eyes were blurry. It hurt to breathe. There was a disgusting taste in my mouth from the vomit. I guess I was under a lot more stress than I thought I was. Maybe it was because I'd been up all night. I wiped the edges of my mouth and looked around frantically. Nobody was there. But the blind spot and shadows that I normally ignored now seemed terrifying to me. I started to think that Yuwa and Shogun could be lurking anywhere. And once the idea was in my head, I couldn't take another step. Somebody help me! I wanted to cry, and the urge to vomit came back too. This time I didn't throw up, but I coughed and gasped for air. It hurt so much that even more tears came out. Then I felt a soft hand rubbing my back. I turned around afraid.
大丈夫
Rimi was there.
大丈夫だよ
She wasn't asking me. She was gently telling me.
私はタクの味方だから
She showed no sign of disgust at the smell of my vomit, or the way my face, covered in snot and tears, with dried remains of my stomach's contents crusting the corners of my mouth. Gross. She had a gentle smile on her face, as if she was trying to make me feel better. She came up to me and rubbed my back gently. Why? When I wanted somebody to save me before, she'd appeared then too. Like a superhero coming to save the day. Why was it that having her around made me feel so much safer? Why did I feel so much better? The next thing I knew, I was spilling my guts out to her, even though I'd hated talking about myself.
助けて。一人は怖いんだ。
Maybe that's why I'd come to school today. Until now, I'd always thought I was better off alone. Of course, I was still afraid of talking to anybody. I didn't think I had any hope of being friends with them. But after everything I was going through with Yue and Shogun, I felt so scared and lonely. I wanted somebody to be by my side. I didn't even need them to be nice to me. I just needed them to be there.
一人は怖い。
だったら私が一緒にいてあげる。
In her words, there was no malice, no hesitation.
さすがに24時間ずっとは無理だけど。
She smiled and suddenly looked up at the sky. What was she looking at? It felt like she was staring at something far off in the distance.
朝一緒に学校行って、学校では休み時間にどうでもいいこと話して、お昼休みは一緒にご飯食べて、夕方一緒に帰って、帰るついでにたまにどこかのお店に寄ったりして、タクの部屋でちょっとだけおしゃべりして、それでまた明日ねって手を振って別れて、そんなのでいいなら私いくらでもしてあげるよ。そういうの結構憧れなんだ。
But that almost sounds like you're my girlfriend. I was in shock. She was serious, at least as near as I could tell from looking at her.
どうしてどうしてそこまでしてくれるの？
それは
Because this was leading where I thought it was, right? Her next words might be because I like you, right? I couldn't understand what about me she could possibly like, though. Yeah, I don't know either. No, wait. This was a Kume's trap. A clever trick to get me to let my guard down. It didn't happen before, right? Yue had deceived me and then betrayed me. I couldn't get my hopes up. I needed to imagine the worst case scenario. Rimi might be my enemy too. She suddenly saluted me. I was caught off guard by her sudden action and worried that she might suddenly be about to reveal her horrible true nature. But I couldn't tell. But I could still see the gentle smile on her face.
そんなの友達だからに決まってるでしょ。私にしてみればタクを助けてあげるのは当然なの。どうしてとか寂しいこと言わない。わかった？
うん。
Friends, huh? If she'd said because you're my boyfriend, it might have felt like a whole new life for me was about to begin. But even if it was as friends, it might be so incredible. It might be so incredibly happy. Having someone else be nice to me, having someone do something for me without expecting a reward. I didn't realize how happy that would make me. Maybe it was something I never experienced before. But more than that, it made me feel like I wasn't alone. Remy was my salvation. The urge to throw up finally subsided and I felt a lot better.
はい、使う？
She offered me a red handkerchief that smelled like flowers. I took it, but I was hesitant to use it.
汚しちゃっていいよ。タクにあげる。
ありがとう。
I felt guilty, but at this point I decided to just take advantage of everything she'd offered me. I wiped away the barf on the edges of my mouth. This was the first time a girl who wasn't in my family had given me a present. I wasn't sure if you could call it a present though. But for somebody who was totally alone like me, even something small like this was an incredible treasure. The joy and sense of relief made me feel like I was going to cry again.
それじゃあ帰ろっか。
She smiled innocently.
一緒に。
What she just said about staying with me seemed, in her mind, to be a settled matter. I hadn't given an answer, but she didn't care. But of course, I didn't plan on saying no. I was afraid of being alone. I didn't want to be alone. Right now, Remy was all I could rely on. But that didn't mean that everything would be fine from now on. I still chose a different route home than usual, and I kept looking over my shoulder the whole way. Danger seemed to lurk in every shadow. Each time I came to an intersection, I had delusions of Yua and Shogun lurking around the corner and froze up, unable to go forward. Then Remy would go ahead of me, looking down the street and turning back to give me a nod.
大丈夫。誰もいないよ。
I gave a sigh of relief and followed her. Remy stayed with me, not seeming annoyed at all.
ねえ、聞いていいかな。一体何があったの？
What happened when? I wasn't sure whether I could tell Remy. If I told her that and Shogun came after her too, that would be my fault.
話したくないなら無理に話さなくても。
いや、話すよ。
I started to speak. I was reluctant to get her involved, sure, but if I didn't explain what was going on, she wouldn't understand how depressive my situation was. I decided to ignore the risk of her, to risk her for the sake of helping myself. She was the one who told me she'd stay by my side, so I was okay, right? I told her about Shogun and the one behind the New Gen murders. About the servant Yua. That the whole two of them were after me. What had happened in front of the 107? I kept tripping over my tongue. But I managed to get it all out. When I told her about Shogun, the man in the wheelchair, she'd frowned a little. that was the thing I wanted to ask her about most. And now was the perfect chance to do.
いたかな、車椅子のおじいさんなんて。
She didn't sound very convinced.
思い出して大切なことだ。
でも
She paused as if she was about to say something that was hard to say.
そもそもあの時渋谷の駅前が無人だったなんてことなかったよ。いつもと同じだった。
So, she hadn't seen anything strange at all that night. I'd hoped she'd tell me she'd seen the same things I had. Remy and I had seen different things. Which of us had seen what really happened? Which of us had seen what really happened? Was I just wrong? Was the empty Shibuya just a delusion of mine? But there was a problem then. That old man in the wheelchair in the empty Shibuya, Shogun. How could you explain him? If the empty Shibuya was just a delusion, then Shogun might be a delusion too.
駅前って人が多いでしょ。だから車椅子の人がいてもなかなか気がつかないだろうし。要するに見てないってこと。ごめんね、役に立てなくて。
Shogun wasn't a delusion of mine. I was sure of that. I thought he might be at first, but my opinion had changed totally after I'd seen the video of the group dive. The Shogun who'd taken the video was real. That was proof he existed. But the empty Shibuya could have been a delusion, maybe. Shibuya had been filled with people then. It had just looked empty to me. That was all. But what did that mean?
ねえ、それよりお願いがあるんだけど、いい？
She put her hands together as if pleading with me.
CD を買いに行きたいんだ。せっかくここまで来てからちょっと寄っていきたいんだけど。いいかな？
Yeah. To be honest, I wanted to get back to the base as soon as possible. I'd only taken this long a route home because I thought Shogun and Yua might be trying to set an ambush for me. I didn't want to go shopping. But if I refused here, I might upset Remy. She might even get mad and leave me here. That would be bad. I need her to stay with me. I didn't even think I could get back to the base on my own. Oh my gosh, I thought that guy with the green hat and the green pants was a frog. In the end, I wasn't able to refuse. I followed her. Fear increased with each step I took. Hopefully even Yua would be reluctant to attack me with this many people around. But I was more scared of the idea that Shogun and Yua could be lurking in the crowd than relieved by the thought of getting lost in them. Each time somebody came close to me, I felt myself screaming internally.
パトカーだ。
My body froze. I quickly hid behind Remy. She was right. There were 2 police cars stopped in the street. 3 uniformed officers were standing next to them. The police were after me too. I hadn't actually done anything, but they were too stupid to understand that. What? They were looking for me. Were they looking for me, I wondered. But after a moment I realized they weren't. They were staring at a crowd that was marching down the street. A protest, maybe? They were all carrying signs, waving flags, and they even had sashes and headbands. There was a little girl in the row of the protesters, looking confused as she was pulled along by her parents on her shirt. The words, "Whose eyes are those?" were written on the with black magic marker. I bit my lip when I saw it.
何のデモだろうね。
The crowd was full of men and women, and the people were of all ages. As they marched, they'd sometimes yell out slogans. "Drive the demons out of Shibuya."
悪魔
Some of the signs said things like, "Drive the demons out of Shibuya," or "Protect Shibuya from terrorists." It was probably a protest over the New Gen murders. Protesting wasn't going to accomplish anything. If they had time to protest, they would just find and kill Shogun instead. Then I wouldn't have to feel so scared all the time. I don't know.
タク行こう。
Rimi looked away from the protesters, seemingly disinterested, and began to walk toward the CD shop. Best sound top 10! Best of. Once inside, she headed straight for the indie CD corner. Unlike the J-pop section where there weren't many people here. She stopped in front of the P shelf and began to look for a CD. She quickly gave up.
やっぱりないな。
Dang it. An indie band whose name started with P. Could it be?
タクはファンタズムってバンドを知ってる？今話題になってるけど。
Yeah. I should have guessed. That was what she was after. Of course I knew about them. I'd gone to a concert and even owned a CD. I nodded and she chuckled.
私、そういう情報は結構疎くて、最近になって知ったんだ。それで、友達に借りようかと思ったんだけど、なかなか手に入らないらしくて、誰も持ってないんだよ。だから、CD 買うしかないかなって思って、ここ1週間ぐらいあちこち探してみたんだけど、どこも売り切れ中。次はいつ入るんだろう。
I don't know. I'm not the supplier of their CDs.
僕持ってる。
Rimi's eyes went wide.
持ってるって CD?
I nodded and then Rimi put her hands on my shoulders. Her face was so close I almost flinched. The smell of her shampoo tickled my nostrils and I could feel my face turning red.
ねえタク、取引しよう。
Trade?
その CD 貸してくれたら、見返りに私。
Her face was dead serious. I gulped. Oh, what?
と。
She seemed to be lost in thought. Did she not actually have any ideas?
見返りなんていらない。
それって貸してくれないっていうこと？
No, what? Remy looks sad. Why is that what you got from
そっ
it?
か、残念。
いや違うよ。見返りなんて必要ないってこと。普通に貸すよ。
タク、
She gave me a brilliant smile. She looked so happy. I thought she might jump on me and give me a hug right there. Normally, girls were never happy about anything I did, so it made me happy too. Well, it's 'cause usually you say things like 3D girls and yeah, it's just your personality, okay? Just let you know. I was glad I worked up the courage to say she could borrow it.
ビシッ。じゃあ見返りなしで借ります。となれば善は急げ。タクの家にレッツゴー。
I managed to get back to the base safely. Of course, I was thinking it was thanks to Remy. I was grateful to her. I wish she hadn't refused me when I asked for a little time to clean my room before she came in, though.
だって前に来た時に汚いっていうのはよーくわかったし、今さら片付けたって無駄だよ。かっこつけなくてもいいって、私とタクの中でしょね。
I guess. Were we too close for that? My memories of Remy were completely gone, so I didn't really know. Sometimes I was surprised at how overly friendly Remy seemed. It didn't really bother me, but it was clear that there was a difference in how we felt about personal space. She was really serious when she said she didn't care if I cleaned up my room. There were discarded food containers from the convenience store on the floor, and stacks of H-game boxes with XXX-rated covers on the bed. Either Remy was really brave, or she didn't see me as any kind of potential threat at all. Wasn't sure how I felt about either option. Isn't it good to be not perceived as a threat? Remy didn't seem to have noticed my discomfort at all, though. She sat down on the sofa and was staring at the lyrics booklet of the Phantasm CD. I sat down on my computer. At last I could relax. Fear had worn me down today, but I didn't feel as tired as I thought I would, probably because Remy was there with me.
さて、どうしよっか。
She shut the lyrics booklet and gave me a big She shut the lyrics booklet and gave a big stretch as she smiled at me. What should we do? Don't ask me. Remy hadn't come here to hang out. She hadn't come to borrow a CD either. I was glad she was staying here, but what exactly were we supposed to do? Did we have to do anything? If this was an H game, we'd go straight to an H scene, but yeah, you live in the real world. No, I should be thinking about stuff like that right now. Being alone in my room with a 3D girl was already a tense enough situation. If I started having delusions, I might end up saying something I regret. Silence. Rimi was sitting there, staring at the manga on the floor and the H games on the bed. This was awkward. I felt like I should say something, but the only things I knew how to talk about were anime and video games. I couldn't imagine Rimi knew much about either of them. It was Rimi who'd offered to stay with me. Maybe she'd say something. If she was hoping for me to take the lead in the conversation, she was asking the wrong person. I really hated dealing with 3D girls. I appreciated her being with me, but this silent pressure was unbearable. Part of the problem was how dark this room was. It made the mood feel kind of erratic. You always think that. I turned back to my PC, unable to bear the awkwardness anymore. There's something I had to look up. It was the idea I'd had back in school. The one that might give me a hint towards finding the D-sword. Is it possible to turn the thoughts in your head into video? What Senna had told me before about VR technology and how humans run on electricity felt like it could be a good starting point.
何してるの?
Rimi stood up and walked over to me. Should I explain? But how to explain? How to explain it? It felt like it would be a big pain in the ass.
ねえねえ、何してるか教えてよ。
Since I didn't answer, Rimi started poking me in the back with her finger. I couldn't just ignore her, right?
君はその妄想が現実になるって信じられる?
I kept typing search keywords into the browser instead of looking back at her. If anything I was looking at, Saritan was... Saritan as I spoke.
妄想が現実に? 無理でしょ。もしそれができたら、人はとっくに万能になってるよ。
Anything they wanted, huh? That might be true. Fear delusions. In your delusions. Ooh, gotta stretch. Whoa. In your delusions, you could do anything, no matter how unreal. If those delusions could become real, that would mean the unreal could become real too.
それがどうしたの?
それに近いシステムがアメリカで特許あるんだ。
へえ、冗談でしょ。
I wasn't looking at her, but I could sense her giving me a sigh of disbelief. I decided to show her the image of the patent that Shiho had found for me.
これは?
特許の証拠写真。
本当に?
She leaned forward and stared at the monitor. Her head was now right next to mine.
私英語って苦手。 すごいねタク。英語読めるなんて。
She's so close. I couldn't even see the sparkle. I could even see the sparkle in her eyes as the monitor's light reflected off them. My heart skipped a beat again.
ねえねえ、どういうことか教えてよ。
She seemed to have taken an interest. I tried my best not to think about how close she was, moving my head so that I could see both Seiyuten and the monitor at all times.
生まれながらに盲目の人でもビデオカメラみたいな映像機器を通すことでそこに映る景色が見えるようになるんだ。これ豆知識な。
ビデオカメラが目の代わりっていうこと？
そう VR 技術って言うんだよ。
へえ、もし本当だったらすごいな。
It is true. Senna said that they'd even succeeded in testing it.
でも機械を使って目が見えるようになるのと妄想が現実になるってどうつながるの？私頭悪いからよくわかんないや。
As I explained my theory to Rimi, I kept on typing keywords into the search engine, but nothing was coming up. I kept going anyway.
映像機器に映る景色も脳内で思い浮かべた妄想も電気信号だから。逆に考えるんだ。脳内に電気信号を送るんじゃなくて脳内から電気信号を送るって考えるんだ。
ほほ
Her responses were dull, almost blank. Maybe she didn't understand at all. I was tired of explaining things to her, so I just stopped talking. I focused on my research. I didn't really need her to understand anyway. It was just an idea I'd come up with. Rimi was still nodding and murmuring, even though I had stopped talking. I decided to just ignore her. But no matter how much I searched, I couldn't find anything to back up my theory. I decided to change my approach and look at patents instead of just web pages. I went to the English site that Shiho had told me about that had a list of patents. I would look and see if there could give me any hints. After following a bunch of links, I finally found something similar to what Shiho had shown me before. It was a different patent document than the one for the VR device. I decided to read it immediately.
神経信号パルスを遠隔地からモニターし、それを映像および音声として再現する装置と方法。
おお。
It was just what I'd thought of. I leaned forward out of my chair.
これすごいぞ。
すごいの？何が？
簡単に言うとこれ他人の思考を盗撮する技術だ。
思考を盗撮。
In other words, you could use a special device to take a look at the images and sounds inside a person's head. And it even said you could monitor these nerve impulses from satellites. With this, you could even read the mind of anybody on Earth.
本当にそんなことできるの？ SF 小説とかそういう類のものなんじゃ？
特許ってそのシステム自体が完全に仕上がってないと絶対に取得できないんだって。
That's what I read when I looked up patents online.
だからこれもちゃんとシステムが確立されてるってことだよ。
This wasn't fiction. If you had the money and technological powers to make the system, you could do it at any time you wanted. I remembered what Senna had said.
ある意図的な情報を神経パルスへコンバートすることが可能なら、人の五感すべて、さらには人の意志そのものもコントロールできるんじゃないか。
I hadn't found any source to confirm or deny that, so it was just a guess. But the theory I'd come up with had a source. Why wasn't this incredible news anywhere to be found in Japan? It felt like you could win a Nobel for it easily. I decided to search for things involving mind reading. What I found was a record of an American court proceeding.
また英文だ。頭痛くなってきそうだよ。
It was pretty long, so I didn't feel like trying to read it all. I decided to use the translation software on it, even if it meant I might end up with something a little off. The basic idea was something like this. Legal proceedings. Plaintiff N.K. Rabin? Defendant, United States Department of Defense, Central Intelligence Agency. Plaintiff claims, my thoughts are being scanned by a specific device recorded and sent somewhere via satellite. I am a hostage to the satellites. I'm exposed to attack by multiple satellites night and day. 1. Tracking. 2. Mind reading. 3. Observation of my entire body. 4. Biofrequency attacks. 5. Audio attacks. 6. Inducement of physical weakness. Beginning in late December 1990, I had been shown artificially created dreams, including audio, visual, and voice content during my sleep. Between the months of February and May 1992, I was a victim of biofrequency attacks, pain, torture, harassment. I recognized that these were attacks upon my person, and beginning in February 1992, I began to record the following in my notes: time, date, contents of particular painful psychological attacks. These biofrequency attacks were performed upon every part of my body. The pain, torture, and harassment were finely tuned so that they would cause unpleasurable situations, exhaustion, and pain to parts and sometimes all of my body. The major parts of my body that were affected were as follows: chest, vision, abdomen, brain to cause sleep disorders, brain to cause me to have artificial dreams.
思考監視、思考盗撮、しかも国家ぐるみ。マジ？
私これ知ってる。何年か前に映画で見た。
That was just fiction, wasn't it? But these court proceedings were real. There were two possibilities. The plaintiff was just crazy, or it was all real. Yep. It was hard to tell which was true. After seeing the patent, it was probably real, but still. But Senna and Ayase weren't crazy, especially Ayase. Down in that tunnel, I'd seen her split in two. I hadn't seen the moment it happened, but when I'd turned around, there was another Ayase. And I'd seen her pull the D-sword out from nowhere, too. That wasn't hallucination or delusion. After seeing that, I couldn't call her crazy. But there was also what she'd said.
これも君の妄想よ。
So, that strange thing I'd witnessed had happened because I'd seen it in my delusions.
理想度は力を持つ人の目にしか映らない。君には私の剣が見えているでしょう。それが意味するのは一つだけ。
Was that what Ayase meant by power? The power to project delusions into reality? And it was possible that I had it. No. I was jumping to conclusions. Maybe there was a system that could use science to turn delusions into video footage, but that didn't mean psychic powers were real.
見つけなくちゃいけない。自分自身で。方法なんて私にもわからない。
But if maybe there was a way to get a D-sword involved some kind of psychic power. And if I had that power, it might be worth trying. Okay. I think we're gonna go ahead and pick this up next time. Save. Let's do both of these just in case. Yes, let's overwrite that. Okay. Where'd it go? Whoop. Boop. Oh. Well, thank you for watching. Bye-bye. Here we go.